Hi, good morning. Hi, everyone. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone joining us from the world. Welcome to today's Ask the Expert session. Today's conversation is part of a larger ITU series called the Digital Transformation Dialogues, that is DTD. The DTD includes webinars, fireside chats, and Ask the Expert sessions where we bring the world's leading voices in emerging technologies directly to you. From artificial intelligence to virtual worlds, we're here to unpack the trends shaping our digital future. As this is our very first session of 2026, it marks the beginning of an ambitious year of insights. And I encourage you to stay connected with us and explore our DTD website for upcoming 2026 event lineups. My name is Li Jiaguo. I am communications intern at International Telecommunication Union. I am happy to be the master of ceremonies for today's Ask the Expert session on connecting physical and virtual worlds with digital twins. So virtual worlds are rapidly becoming a new digital frontier, transforming how physical and digital environments converge. Digital twins sit at the core of this evolution, enabling persistent, intelligent communication or connections between real-world systems and immersive virtual worlds. To scale responsibility, these environments must be interoperable, trusted, and standards-based. Through ITUT Study Group 20 and the Global Initiative on Virtual Worlds and Artificial Intelligence, ITU is shaping the global standards that ensure virtual worlds are open, sustainable, and inclusive. Before we begin today's session, I would like to highlight a few housekeeping rules. So throughout the session, all the questions from the audience will be taken during the Q&A. So please submit your question through the Q&A window, which you can access via the icon at the bottom of your screen. And also, please note that today's session is being recorded. The recording and presentation materials will be made available on the event webpage shortly after the session concludes. To officially kick off today's session, it is my pleasure to introduce our distinguished opening speaker, Mr. Seizo Onoe, Director of the Telecommunication Standardization Bureau at ITU. Onoe-san, you may have the floor.
Thank you. And hello, everyone, and welcome to our first webinar of 2026. Today, we will gain expert insight on digital twins from Dr. Changyu Lee, who leads our standard work on digital twins and metaverse for smart cities. Dr. Lee, thank you for joining us. We highly appreciate your support. Our first metaverse standards have defined how physical and virtual worlds can interact through digital twins. These standards were developed by ITUT Study Group 20, our lead study group on cityverse. Today's webinar is an excellent opportunity to learn more. Please don't be shy. All questions are welcome. Digital twins are creating very exciting possibilities in areas like manufacturing, healthcare, and climate action, and especially smart cities. Cities are complex life forms with virtual counterparts. We can improve urban management dramatically. That's why digital twins have become such an important part of ITU standards work for the Internet of Things and smart cities. We want our standards to create global access to the new opportunities created by digital twins. I hope you enjoyed today's webinar. We would love to receive your feedback. We can build on this feedback with future webinars in this series. Thank you.
Thank you, Onoe-san, for your inspiring words. And now it is a great pleasure for me to invite our expert for today's session, Dr. Chang-Kyun Lee, Rapporteur for Question 1 on interworking between smart city platforms, including digital twins at ITUT Study Group 20. Dr. Lee, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you for introducing me, Lisa. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. So I'm Chang-Kyun Lee. So today, I'm gonna share my personal opinion on connecting physical and virtual world with digital twins. So let's start it. So I'm sharing my presentation. Okay. So the connecting physical and virtual worlds. When you say this, the first we need to clarify what is physical world and what is virtual world, at least in my presentation. So in my presentation, physical world means our universe, the place where we are living on. And virtual world is the metaverse. It has been very important issue, the worldwide important issue, and how the industry is. Although nowadays the metaverse lose some power to forward, but still personally I believe there will be someday where the metaverse is indeed implemented and we can enjoy it in someday. Okay, so connecting physical and virtual world with digital twins, it means connecting our universe and the metaverse with digital twins. In this slide, in my presentation, I will share my personal opinion, and also I will introduce some relevant ITUT recommendations. Okay. What is metaverse? What is the metaverse? That's the basic one question we need to think about. During standardization experience, I met so many colleagues, so many experts. And while we had some conversation on specific issue, we never do that. What we have experienced is we need to define something. We need definition of some terminology. So let's start with terminology thing. I mean the definition. So what is metaverse? we have the wonderful definition of metaverse. A creative virtual environment where physical and virtual worlds converge that enables users to interact with shared digital spaces, objectives, and services. And one note, important note, a metaverse can be virtual, augmented, representative, or associated with physical world. This note is a bit important, though it is not. And this definition is in ITTY 4238, the requirements for integrating virtual and physical world through digital twins in the metaverse. So I believe this definition is the world first definition about the metaverse. And with this definition, let's think about the virtual worlds, the different types of virtual worlds. Okay, the first type is virtual metaverse. As you can see, for virtual universe, the users wears the head-mount display, HMD, and then users dive into virtual worlds, and they can interact with each other users, and they can interact with virtual objects within virtual world. Next one is augmented metaverse. For augmented metaverse, the users wears the AR glasses, and they are not in virtual world, they are in our physical world, but some augmented information can be shown on the glasses. So in the augmented metaverse, the users can interact with virtual objects that are overlaid or augmented onto physical world. They can even interact with other users with the AR glasses in augmented metaverse. And the last type is integrated metaverse. Integrated metaverse is something different from virtual or augmented metaverse. So personally, I believe this integrated metaverse is something we have imaged. In this type of metaverse, our universe and information in virtual world will be integrated into one world. So in this type of metaverse, a virtual or augmented the metaverse, I mean, this is kind of the user interface. The important one is user can interact with physical object via virtual object. So this is called integrated metaverse because user can interact with physical objects via virtual object. That's its integration. Then now, how can we make possible this type of metaverse, integrated metaverse? I know. Still we don't have fully enjoyable virtual metaverse or augmented metaverse, but I believe this type of integrated metaverse could be our prime goal to realize metaverse. Then, what do we need to do? What do we need to achieve to implement this type of metaverse? We need to think about the enabler. As I told, how can we make it possible? Personally, my personal opinion, that is IoT and digital twin. I do believe IoT and digital twin is key enabler of integrated metaverse. Here, on the left side, there are physical objects. And in left side, there are corresponding virtual objects. So among them, there is digital twin and physical object with IoT. Through this IoT and through this digital twin, the physical object and virtual object can be synchronized. Through this synchronization, user can interact with physical world through virtual object. The user may in the virtual world, in virtual metaverse. Even though the user can use virtual object to operate some physical object. And all the operation can be done by synchronization between digital twin and virtual object. It can also possible in augmented metaverse. I mean the integrated metaverse with augmentation. So the user interface is not important here. What important is, we need to have proper IoT technology and proper data twin that properly synchronized for integrated metaverse. I believe that is very important enabler for this, the connecting virtual and physical world. So now I would like to talk about the approach in ITUT. Among ITUT, there are many study groups, and among those study groups, there is SD20. The title is, as you can see, Internet of Things, the IoT and digital twins, and smart sustainable cities and communities. ITUT SD20 is working on development of international standards or technical reports on this topic. And Study 20 has a number of questions to groups where the document is developed. So among those questions, the question 1 under working party 2 is working on the topic of interworking between smart city platforms, including data twins. And last year, we made the question 1 made some important international standards. Let's look at it. The first, the recommendation is ITU-TOY 4238, requirement for integrating virtual and physical worlds through digital twins in the metaverse. This recommendation introduces some service scenarios, 6 service scenarios, and define requirements for integrating virtual and physical worlds through digital twins in the metaverse. And more importantly, you may remember that the world first definition of metaverse is defined in this recommendation. So let's get it. So among 6 service scenarios, the first service scenario is about synchronizing produced items with virtual creation. So this is some potential scenario where a user creates virtual object in the virtual world and places an order for its production. Then, after production, the product is delivered to users. Then user can synchronize it with the virtual object in the virtual world. Formerly, the virtual objects that the user created in virtual world was not digital twin, but after production and through synchronization, so finally the virtual object goes to be the digital twin, which is connected with the physical object. And second scenario is the scheduling integration process. In this scenario, there are multiple users tries the integration to the same physical object. In this scenario, the virtual object itself is already data twin, and the data twin has corresponding physical objects. But that in this scenario, the 3 users concurrently want to operate the same physical object. And in that condition, how can we properly synchronize the virtual object with physical object? So this scenario was about that scenario. And third one is about notifying a guest in a physical world to a virtual world. In this scenario, the user is in virtual world, and he or she is enjoying his experience. Then, when some guest arrives in physical world, then there is a digital twin of front wall. In the front wall, there is a camera and chime bell. And when guests push the chime bell, all the signals and all the picture of the guest go to the virtual world by synchronization between the virtual object, which is the twin of front door and front door itself. This kind of the integration is introduced in this scenario. And next one is service integration. How can we integrate even third-party service that is in this service scenario? And this scenario is about augmented one. This scenario is about providing additional information provision for physical object. When user in physical world see some specific physical object, then the virtual world will provide the information about the corresponding physical object in augmented way. That is another kind of integration between 2 worlds. And last one is remote maintenance assistance via virtual collaboration. This one, in this scenario, some remote assistance can be happened. The scenario, so in physical world, for example, in factory, the maintenance worker tries to fix some machine, but when he needs some remote assistance, remote guidance, then experts in remote, he can join the virtual world, and he will diagnose using the digital twin of physical world, and then he can let the maintenance worker know how to fix this machine. That is another kind of the integration in here. So based on 6 service scenarios, so 3 types of requirements is defined in this recommendation. The first type is requirements related to digital twin itself, 11 requirements, and another one is requirements related to virtual world, the 10 requirements, and there are 3 requirements on interaction interfaces. Based on these requirements, the second recommendation has been developed. It is ITUT WIDA 4239. And in this recommendation, some reference model that identifies essential functions of each component is identified. And then based on the identified functions, some specific functional entities, which is very atomic. The functional entities is defined in this second recommendation. In using this identification, identify the functions, identify the functional entities of each functions. Yes, this is very important one. This is very important. The component which is integration enabler. I need to go back here. Yes, here. So here in this document, identify the 4 important components. The first one is metaverse system, the running the virtual worlds, and second one is digital twin system, the governs digital twin, and third-party service system offers some third-party service, and among them, in the center, there is integration enabler. It is important one. The integration enabler enables this integration by having required functions to do so. And based on these functions and functional entities, the third recommendation, ITUT WIDA 4240, the interoperability for integrating virtual and physical world through digital twins in the metaverse. This recommendation defines 3 foundational interfaces and their specific some reference points for integrating 2 worlds. This is very important, the one which is reference architecture, including interfaces, which are the red lines and some reference points. So through some interfaces and through each reference point, so the functional entities or functions can interact so that virtual world and the physical world can be integrated, and even third-party integration as well. This is operational procedure in the recommendation. So in addition to have some reference architecture and their corresponding descriptions, additionally, this recommendation provides some operational procedure how to integrate third-party services in metaverse, in virtual worlds, and how to integrating physical world into the metaverse. These two type of integration is for the integrating virtual and physical worlds. Okay, so thank you for attention. Thank you for listening this assessing my personal opinion on the connecting virtual and physical worlds. So my final words is this one: to collaborate together for brighter future. So please join the work in ITUT, so that we can make better international standards for brighter future. So now I'm open to the question or comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lee, for your insights, and thank you. So we have a lot of questions. I will start with the first one. So, Dr. Lee, you introduced the integration enabler as a key element in the reference model. So could you please clarify how it should be understood?
Okay, that's a very good question. So I need to share my screen again. Yeah. Okay, so as I mentioned, the integration enabler is indeed key enabler to connect the virtual world and physical world by connecting metaverse system and digital twin system and services systems. So, but you may find that through metaverse system and digital twin system and third-party system, they are named as systems, but integration enabler is not, because integration enabler is a set of functions that enables this integration. So each functions and each functional entities can be implemented when it is indeed implemented. Each functional entity can be implemented in, for example, some functional entity can be implemented in metaverse system and others can be implemented in digital twin system. So it depends on implementation. However, in this recommendation, it is important that we identify what important functional entities are for integrating tools. That's my answer from my side. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I got another question for you. So looking forward, how do you see the role of digital twins evolving beyond synchronization and visualization, especially in relation to the interaction with the physical world?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So my personal view is that we need to, as I told during my presentation, even metaverse itself is not in front of us now. It will be someday. The metaverse will be in our world. In some day, we can enjoy the metaverse. We can experience the metaverse. Not yet, but however, the digital twin need to go for some other direction. We need to see another direction, which is called embodied AI. Someone called the physical AI. So I believe digital twin itself is very important role on that topic. So for digital twin related standardization, So I'd like to many the person here, the many participants here, I'd like to ask to have some chance to participate in developing some study. I mean, the study together about the embodied AI and physical AI in digital twin perspective. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We have received a lot of questions, and thank you for the enthusiasm, but due to time limit, we cannot address them all. So if you would love to, you can send us your email, or you can send your questions to the secretariat, and my teammates and my colleagues, they're sharing the details. And if you could send these questions to us, Dr. Lee will try to answer you via email. Thank you all again for this rich and engaging discussion. So today's session has underscored how international standards are essential to turning virtual worlds from aspiration into reality, ensuring that they are trusted, interoperable, and capable of delivering real-world impact. So ITU-T standards are freely available to all, and we encourage you to visit the ITU-T Study Group 20 webpage to learn more about our work on IoT, digital twins, smart and sustainable cities and communities, and the Cityverse. As we reach the end of our time, I would like to wrap up by extending a sincere thank you to Dr. Lee for your expertise and to our global audience for your insightful questions and engagement. We also invite you to explore the Digital Transformation Dialogues webpage to learn more about upcoming sessions and to stay engaged at the forefront of emerging technologies and digital transformation. For those interested in learning more about AI-powered virtual worlds and artificial intelligence, I am pleased to share that the third UN Virtual Worlds Day will take place on 11th May 2026 in Geneva, followed by the second Cityverse Assembly of Global Initiative on Virtual Worlds and Artificial Intelligence on 12th May 2026 at the same venue. My colleagues have shared the relevant links in the chat. You can always feel free to explore. And once again, thank you all for your participation. And with that, this Ask the Expert session is concluded. Thank you.